So here we are. I'm Stacy Richter, the marketing Mindbender, here with Gavin and Joelle from Skiuphill, Runuphill, deep in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. And I wish you could see the beautiful day that we've got outside with these beautiful mountains with great blue skies. But here we are for a marketing moment. And I love what you guys are doing here with your store, the things that you're doing in Canmore and in Calgary. So for everybody who's watching, all these business owners who market their business to local customers, tell us a little bit about how you started Skiuphill or Runuphill and why you started this business.
Sure, yeah. So I guess you can chime in as well. But we were down in the States. We were doing a race that we knew and loved down in Wasatch Powder Keg for a Skiimo race. A whole bunch of our friends wanted us to bring product back from this notorious store down there, Skiimo Co. And driving back 15 hours, maybe too much coffee, we wanted to do something similar. And it wasn't so much just the gear they had, although you could tell they knew and loved it, but it was the community they built specifically around Skiimo, and then the people that they impacted, I think, with their business. Right. So Skiuphill, Runuphill was really a passion project for us. We love trail running, ultra running. We love backcountry skiing, so that's what we wanted to create a community around, was people sharing information, sharing data, which they seem to keep for themselves, but also bringing in products that we stand by. It's not about margins, it's about products that we know, test, and love, and we know is great for the area. Being that, I think, coupled with expertise, we wanted to be that customer service, a store that was notorious for amazing customer service, fixing stuff that people didn't know, and then with Joelle being a physiotherapist in town, also making sure that we were that expertise brand where people could come in for actual recommendations, not just what sells well.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys have challenged yourselves with your business, because a lot of businesses experience some seasonality in their business, but you are a seasonal business. With the backcountry ski equipment, and then of course running in the summer, you've kind of compiled all of the challenges a local business has to face. So what have been some of your biggest challenges in the last year and a half, 2 years you've been in business, and trying to overcome a lot of the seasonality and of course just marketing to local customers?
I think one of the really hard things is that it doesn't transfer that well from running to backcountry skiing, so the audience is quite different.
Yeah.
So for us, some runners are going to backcountry ski, but in backcountry skiers you don't have that much runners necessarily, right? So you do have kind of like an audience that you have to adjust to, and when we do, for example, the marketing, or we just just on Facebook, for example, it's one page, right? But then how do you interest the skiers and not lose the runners? And in the summer, how do you just not have all the skiers on your page because they don't care, right? So that's a pretty tricky kind of challenge, because it's two different sports that don't necessarily have that much crossover.
Right.
And I think that coupled with getting known, that's a big piece. I used to be involved in the chamber, was how do you get known as a small business? You can use Google AdWords, you can have some different platforms, but I think people finding out or discovering your brand, and for us that's been through different community events, movie nights, those types of things has helped us become discovered as well, that we'll do deliveries in Calgary or ship across over the ocean as well, right?
So getting involved in the community has been a big contributor to your success and being known locally, and of course, it's only an hour and a half drive to Calgary, so we consider that local business as well. Yep. What have been some of the other triumphs you've experienced? I mean, obviously you're still here, your business is still thriving, you've had some wins along the way. Would you share what some of those might be?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. Being involved in community is getting people out there. So we've always said it's not that scarcity mindset, but it's we want to get people off the roads and into the trails, off the resorts and chairlifts and into the backcountry. So for us, it's been partnering with local businesses like Yamnuska, partnering with MTN Guiding for guided days. But I think also making an impact, with movie nights. These are movies that we've seen, we know, we love. I think that's been very important for us. And then I think being a hub for community data. We have people that just come in because they've traveled. What trail do I want to run? I know we've done some GPS coordinates. What line do I ski this week? And sort of sharing a bit of that knowledge as well, I think, has been important for us.
The business side of things is definitely getting better and better. But when you kind of talk about, when people ask me, what's the biggest success, or what are you most proud of? It always, what comes out is how come Canmore didn't have that kind of community before, and how come now there's a lot more kind of events, and there's a lot more of a sense of sharing, especially among skiers, where you're gonna have people show up for events and just talk about where they've been and just like share information, and that wasn't there before. And we're like, how come Canmore is such a good hub and we don't have that kind of community? And that's definitely something that I'm the most proud of, that we're kind of helping kind of push that idea of community among skiers for sure.
Yeah. And I think you can do the community work if you have the great service in store, and if your store backs that up. And we've been very fortunate to have some incredible employees that we know and love, and they think are part of our family, which is really great. So I think it starts with that as well.
Great point, great point. So this has been really interesting. A lot of the readings that I'm doing, the studies that I've picked up, is that 90% of consumers will not even consider a business that doesn't have at least a 3-star rating on customer reviews, whether it's Google or Facebook, and that number is starting to go up. And 75% of consumers have admitted that they always look at customer reviews before they decide on where they're going to shop. Now you guys have done a fantastic job. You got tons of reviews both in Google and on Facebook. Most of them are the top rating. I think you might have one dip to a 4. And so what has been if I was to ask you, a couple of the spices in your secret 11 herbs and spices that go into getting those customer reviews, what would you say that is for the people who are trying to crack that?
It's interesting, like the thing we always come back to is I was listening to a Master the Scale or something like that, and they were talking about the Airbnb experiment, where they were doing like, what's the 4-star like rating, what would be a 5-star, what would be a 6-star, what would be a 7-star, and all that stuff, and for us we're like, okay, what's the 5-star kind of for a shop experience? And then it's like, oh, you come to Skiuphill and like you discuss skis for like a while with a guy who's like super into it, and then maybe you get a free coffee, and then and then if you buy something, like it's gonna be like all mounted and prepared and good to go when you pick him up. You don't have anything to do, and then what if like it's ready the next day or it's ready the same day, and that kind of stuff. And I think that's one of the things that people, when they come in, they see the attention to like, how do you optimize that experience? How do you make it more enjoyable? How do you surprise people a little bit, When we say like, oh, like, you want coffee? And they're like, oh, how much do I owe you? Like, oh, it's free. Like, it's just like, and then, like, we just make coffee here. And they're like, oh, that's really cool, and that's something that people remember, right? So, yeah, I think like also people, it's interesting because I think that people are gonna rate more if it's like 5 or 1. Like the mid-range, like if it's like average, you're probably not gonna like waste your time going like on the internet and like writing a review. But if it's like, oh, that was like amazing, I have to tell someone, then that's where you kind of generate, I don't know, just like a lot of reviews. And Gavin's been asking some people, like, sometimes like, oh, we're just a small business, rate us online if you have 2 minutes. But it's not something we do systematically. Right. Definitely not.
I think it's like great customer service doesn't happen by accident. I think it starts with having a really strong vision and purpose, or the why. Simon Sinek would say the why behind it, not the what. If you're in business to sell something, you'll probably put in a solid day as an entrepreneur. If you put in a business because like you love that product and you love that sport, that'll keep you till midnight, as we've done all December.
Lots of those
no,
nights.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like you'll we kind of joked this past week that it was kind of like miracle work, or like another miracle, and you pull it off, right? Because you know how you would want the experience to be, and your why is very strong.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Joel, you make 2 really good points I want to emphasize here. When you say coffee, this is not a drip coffee where you pour it out of a pot. You have an espresso machine, a steam milk, and everything. So this is not just, hey, here's a hot cup of coffee with coffee shop, just down the street. This is cappuccino, latte.
Well, it is coffee shop down the street, Rave Coffee, as in Canmore. They roast for us an Alpine Start, but it's a beautiful Rocket Cellini PID espresso machine. Top of the line. Well, it's for our customers, so it should be.
Absolutely. And the second point you made is the passion that you guys have behind your business, making that connection. So really, the reviews don't start after the service. It actually starts long before the customer ever entered in your door. And hopefully, we'll get a quick tour of your store here, so we can show everybody the beautiful space that you've got. So the Google reviews, the Facebook reviews, those all start before your doors are even open, before customers even look you up online. That's where the Google reviews and Facebook reviews start, would you say?
Agree.
Yeah, and like I think one of the the Facebook reviews are a bit more, are quite a bit different. When you do a Google review, like as us as a store, we're not that connected to it, because you have to kind of like go on your like Google Business Tool and all that stuff, and then kind of, oh, I have a review, I'm gonna reply to it. We try to reply to them, like respond like, oh, thank you, like it's great to have you in the shop, but then the more I find that the more active you are on Facebook, and like we're trying to be like really like on social medias a lot, and I think the more active you are on Facebook, the more you're gonna have people like, oh, I'm gonna rate them, you know, because they see you all the time, right? A shop that posts once a month, like, you know, you're not gonna see their feed much. You're gonna like, pay attention. But if it's like someone that interacts a lot, that posts a lot, that has a lot of content, you're always kind of connected to them, and then you're probably going to review more.
And I think that's a big one too. It's not so much like we're not sponsoring a running vest or a ski binding. It's more asking others to test stuff out, but then it's also organic. So it's actually posting organic content around how to backcountry ski better, how to do better kick turns, how to wax your skins for spring.
Right.
So it's actually content that people identify with is like, this is valuable to me and this is valuable information. And then by proxy, they may pick up a product or come in and look at something and chat it out. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So what would you say to other business owners who local their services and products, whether it's, you know, an auto mechanic, a plumber, electrician, or other retail store, for example, like yours? What would you tell them, one or two things, if they were looking to incorporate more customer reviews into their marketing strategy? How should they start? Where should they start to develop that, and how should they go about that? Just to close this out.
Yeah, I just think like the star experience is really what I come back to, you know? Like,
Think it through.
what's the 3-star rating? What's the 4-star? What's the 5-star? And then just like exaggerate from there. And like, you know, when we in the service we offer, I don't think we can scale that. Like, I don't think like we would have like a massive lineup of skis to mount every night. You can be like, oh, we're gonna do that by the end of the day, you know. But for now, you're like, that's kind of how far we are able to go to like give you the like, whoa, that was crazy kind of service. And I think that's a really good place to start, because if it's like that much better, people will talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
And
kind of.
then I would say see the end game. I'm sure when, I don't have kids, but I'm sure when people have kids, be getting up at 3 in the morning to nurse them, to change a diaper. No one wants to do that, but it's something you do because you care and you love that child. Well, if you care and love your business, you're going to do that as well, because you see the end goal of them being 20, going to university and being successful as part of something you brought up out of the ground. So I think that's really key. I think is have a super big passion for something and then be authentic in what you're doing. Right?
Great message. So, so for everybody who's watching, how do people get in touch with you? Where can they reach out if they, you know, want to buy some skis, look at some boots, you know, some apparel, some running shoes? Where do they find you?
We put everything online at skiuphill.ca, 403-675-HILL, 4455, or runuphill.ca as well. Or you'll probably see us in Calgary or Canmore doing some event.
That's awesome. Make sure you check out Facebook and Instagram. Super active. Some of the best, you know, backcountry shots that I've ever seen. So this has been Stacy Richter. This has been a marketing moment with Joelle and Gavin at Skiuphill, Runuphill. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate the time and effort.
Cool. Thanks.
Cheers. Cool.